Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. I have Edgar Esparza on the show with me today. He is a president and co-founder of coproduction.net. Edgar, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Michael.
All right. I wanted to back up somewhat and give you a chance to tell our audience what co-production does. And then I want to get into sheltering companies in Mexico, soft landing, some of these other questions that I've got for you.
Sure. So, in a nutshell, co-production CPI is a shelter provider here in the Tijuana, San Diego region. And what we do is we help facilitate setting up manufacturing facilities in Mexico. So a foreign company will come to our company to set up their facility in Mexico, and we help with the administration of the entire facility, import, export, logistics. We'll do accounting as well as human resources. And there's, after that, we set them up, we do the soft landing for them, and they're ready to go.
All right. Now, the admissions or the administration of foreign manufacturers coming into Mexico, that can be an intricate process because it's not just coming into Mexico. It's not just finding the labor force to build and then fill out the new facility there. There's all kinds of rules and regulations and taxes. I think I was reading, I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce this, but it's IMMEX program. And
correct.
In that, there's raw materials in, then you turn it into a product, and then that product out. And there's tariffs and taxes and all kinds of things that they have to be dealt with, and they have to be dealt with through the local people that you know and have already developed a relationship. Open that up for me.
Exactly. So the IMEX program, which used to be called the Maquiladora program, was set up specifically for that reason. So that companies could import their raw materials, their equipment, and their know-how, of course, and from there, open up their factory in Mexico, process, do their production, and then be able to export back into the United States. There's, like you said, regulations, there's permitting that needs to be done. And of course, CPI helps out throughout the entire process. So the EMEX program gives these companies that ease, or makes it easy for them to be able to import and export their products in and out of Mexico. Some have duties, some do not. Obviously, there is now the USMC agreement, which was the old NAFTA agreement, and which makes it a lot easier for companies from the US, Canada, or Mexico to be able to import and export much easier than before.
Now, there's more to it than in the compliance side, too, because the IVA certifications, I wanted you to open that up. That's a whole nother end of your business that people may not think about when they're looking to expand and bring their business into Mexico. Walk me through that.
Sure. So the EVA certification, especially in the last couple of years, which is something relatively new, is something that changed within the Mexican regulations in the government. And that is a whole process that needs to be done. It can take up to 6 to 9 months in order to do that. All of our companies are EVA certified, of course. And that process is basically an accounting or taxing process. Mm-hmm. And it gets pretty in depth with the products, with the cost of the raw materials, importing and exporting. So the controls have to be there in order for us to be able to import and export and have the company certified. So what that means is the certification, once we obtain it, it gives us ability to be able to import products without paying the 16% EVA immediately. Otherwise, it would be a cash flow nightmare for companies to have to import X number of dollars and have to pay the EVA on the spot. So to be able to get certified really helps out these companies a lot.
Tell me about the industry sectors that you're working with, that you see, because you have your finger truly on the pulse of international business when it comes to Latin America and North America. I'll just sum it up into those two major regions. The industry sector, what's going on geopolitically and economically, how you see this moving forward with co-production, helping people to enhance the bottom line and streamline the process to do business, not just in North America, but also in South America or Latin America or Mexico is what we're talking about.
Correct. Our company specializes in Mexico, of course. Mm-hmm. But the industries that are leading right now in Mexico are automotive, aerospace, medical as well. We don't deal too much with South America. Not that we can't, but we don't deal too much with South America right now. We specialize mainly in Mexico, and those are the leading industries right now for us in Mexico.
When it comes to the vision forward, you get a heads up. You kind of know where it's going to go when it comes to taxation and rules and compliance. Do you see any industry sectors beyond those that you mentioned that could be a windfall for people to avail themselves of your talent, your services, and your connection?
Besides, I mean, anything that is really labor intensive, which is really our forte in Mexico, and even nowadays with the high tech jobs that are also moving to Mexico is really interesting for us. Mexico has done a really good job with education. Nowadays, you know, I think Mexico has really prepared itself within the last 25, 30 years in order for this boom that's happening now in Mexico. So now we have technical schools, we have universities, and these schools are you know, putting out graduates with industrial, mechanical engineers, which were before, you know, it wasn't so focused on that. I think Mexico has really done a good job with that, with the education sense of it.
So do you see that continuing? In other words, they're going to pile more money into higher education for a better workforce to support the businesses that want to take advantage of the difference in cost by doing business in Mexico versus other countries?
That's correct. So, I mean, obviously, the obvious one is labor, right, and the labor-intensive products, which before, you know, as we know, it was more textiles, you know, things like that moved out of Mexico for a certain reason. But that gave Mexico the leeway to be able to go in and take advantage of the other leading industries that were coming on board, which really helped out a lot.
Now, I want to have you back again on the show so that we can drill down into some of these topics, these very high-level topics that we spoke about. But in the time remaining, the minute or two that we have remaining, give us the biggest impact statement that you think America should know about doing business in Mexico.
Well, like our founder used to say, Mexico is not bad. It's just different. There's a variety of reasons to move to Mexico besides just the labor. We have there's infrastructure that's available. Like I mentioned before, education, technology. Mexico has really done a fine job in leading this way for their future. I think the previous leaders were able to see that and were able to take advantage of that as well. And companies, foreign companies that want to go into Mexico can certainly take advantage of that as well.
Great. Well said. Edgar, thanks for being a guest on the show. I can't wait to have you back. We'll start, at that point, we can start drilling down into some of these topics that people should really know about. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. All right, you've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.